Previously, we saw that Mofan was somehow able to awaken the rare fire and even more rare lightning talents, but has decided to keep that a secret from everyone. Mofan would later be challenged to a duel with a member of the Mu family. Faced with impossible odds, Mofan finally reveals his two talents to everyone in order to win the duel. The story continues after the duel, as everyone realizes how much of a prodigy and genius Mofan is. He approaches Mizao and demands his reward for winning. Muhe begs that his brother not do it, but Mizao is a man of his word and apologizes to Mofan's father for his impulsive behavior. He then formally announces Mofan's victory and grants him the right to train in the sacred spring for 7 days. Later, everyone celebrates his victory and discuss how bright a future he has, whether that be with the Magic Association or prestigious schools. Mr. Shang reminds everyone though to not give up and work hard to achieve goals of their own. Zoe is excited to see Mofan's progress after training at the sacred spring, since he should be able to use mid-tier magic afterwards. Mofan goes to visit his father, and we get a glimpse of a group of robed men having a discussion in the shadows. One of them explains that they never expected Mofan to be an innate dual element wielder, and they had underestimated him. The group's plan has failed, since Yuang didn't earn the right to train at the spring, and it is explained that the higher-ups have lost their patience after all the wasted time. The young member apologizes for failing and begs for another chance, promising to do better next time. However, the group has already made their decision to punish him. Later, Zhang helps his friend gain more confidence in her abilities when they spot Mofan and Zinzaya. Mofan wonders why she chose that specific bracelet over all the others, and Zinzaya simply says that she liked it. What makes it really special though is that they picked it together, and he bought it as a gift for her 16th birthday. Zhang reminds him that today is the day Mofan begins his training at the spring, and offers to escort Zinzaya home for him. That night, Mofan arrives at the building where his training will take place, and is met by Miss Tang and Mizao, who is a bit annoyed to have been waiting for so long. Miss Tang gives him a star map book that will help with releasing mid-tier magic. He is then met by Captain Zuda, who can't believe he didn't realize Famo's true identity sooner, and explains that training at the spring is a dream for every mage that should be cherished. Zuda is there to continue the investigation of the girl that went missing from the high school where they fought the rat. The girl in charge of protecting the sacred spring named Lin is her older sister, and she is helping provide information. He goes on to explain that after searching the tunnel the rat had used, a strange fluid was found and is suspected to be linked to the spring. However, that is all the information he is willing to give, and wishes Mofan luck in becoming the second youngest mid-tier mage in the city, after Ningsu. In a lab, it is explained that the fluid is from a spring very similar to the sacred spring. However, its effect will bring any living thing to a berserk stage and trigger their innate violent potential. They conclude it must be the reason more rats are appearing recently, and decide to call the tainted liquid the Violent Spring. Security grants Mofan access to the spring, and he begins his training. He is immediately able to feel the effects of the spring as his pendant begins to react. Mofan remarks how excited it is and wonders if it wants to drink all the water. He asks that it calm down a bit and promises to get it a girlfriend when they get out. Elsewhere, Mofan's father completes a delivery. Some soldiers congratulate him on his son's performance in the duel and explain that all the influential organizations are fighting over him. They believe that his family's future is secure and wonder why he still works as a driver. He explains that soldiers like them work hard to protect their city, and he finds joy in being able to provide even minor things like groceries to them. Outside, a couple soldiers remark how the color of the rain looks like pee, and are told to get back to work by Officer Kong. We then get a glimpse into the forest as we see several infuriated monsters preparing for an attack. Back at the training facility, Zuda has finished his investigation and asks that Lin care for Mofan when he gets out, as a week of training will certainly take a toll on him. At the border, it is explained to Officer Kong that a patrol team has not returned yet. We then watch as the team leader explains how light mages will have to use their magic to send signals in case of emergency, since communication devices attract monsters. Just then, they are attacked by a ferocious wolf, and Army headquarters sees the emergency lights. The remaining members of the patrol team must eventually use devices to contact headquarters since their light mages have been killed, and they are desperate, but it's too late as the monsters make their way to them. Officer Kong declares it a level 4 emergency, which shocks everyone since that is the alarm for a dire disaster, and he explains that every minute wasted will mean the death of hundreds of citizens. Back at the facility, Mofan attempts to control some stars but fails and realizes that even with the help of the spring, using mid-tier magic won't come easily. He has lost track of time, wondering how many days have passed and how his friends are doing. Outside, the citizens hear the alarm and Mr. Shang directs everyone back into the school, explaining that monsters have appeared. Miss Tang rescues the boy from danger, but is astonished to see a winged wolf above her. The army do their best to hold the border, and a mid-tier mage impresses everyone with his strength. He attempts to inspire everyone to continue fighting, but is taken out instantly by a white wolf. Officer Kong is informed of the massive number of monsters appearing inside the city, and can't understand how since their border hasn't been breached. Defending the border is pointless if the citizens are being attacked, so he decides to send several mages to the city. At the facility, Mofan remembers the instructions given by Miss Tang. He must strengthen his stardust if he is to have a chance at evolving them into star clouds, and in turn becoming a mid-tier mage. After that, he will have to train the way he did when first becoming a mage in order to use mid-tier magic. The main difference, however, is now there will be 49 stars for him to connect. Miss Tang, being the kind person she is, has gifted Mofan with the Star Map book that will allow him to release mid-tier magic temporarily. He mistakes her kindness for attraction, fantasizing about what would happen if he stopped trying to connect stars and asked to connect their lips instead. He snaps out of it and wonders if the distraction was actually a trial created by the Sacred Spring. Ningsu expresses her concern for Mofan as her family flees their building, but must focus when they are met by several monsters. Mizao was injured in the process, but they managed to escape, and she can't help but worry for Mofan. Elsewhere, the robed men reveal that it was due to Yuang's failure that they had to act now, and that their goal of bringing down the central building will be made easier with the help of some one-eyed rats. Mofan trains hard but is interrupted when the ground begins to shake. He emerges from the training room to find giant rats are attacking and must run back in with Vice Team Leader Lin. She then activates an emergency procedure that drains the spring and captures it inside a bottle. Lin uncovers a hidden tunnel and explains that it is so old that she doesn't even know where it leads, but they have no other option. She then explains to him that a group called the Black Order has added a liquid called the Violent Spring into the rain, and it makes monsters go berserk. The Snow Peak station that Officer Khan controls has lost its guard, and she can only guess how bad the situation has gotten in the city. The moment is tense, and when Mofan's nose bleeds, he explains that a rat monster must have hurt him. They exit the tunnel and are confused as to why it leads to his school, but forget that instantly when they get a view of the dire condition the city is in. The streets are overrun by monsters, and we see that a group of men try to make their way to a safe house. However, they encounter a feeding monster and catch its attention. Their efforts to escape are completely useless as the monster quickly hunts them down one by one. Lin explains that the level 4 emergency alarm has been sounded, and Mofan is shocked as that means there are hundreds and even thousands of monsters. Lin reveals she has never encountered this level of crisis, and Mofan can only think about the safety of his family. We are then shown how Zenzaya narrowly escapes death. The man who saves her would like to help others, but the group decide it's too dangerous and close the entrance to the building they are in. He explains that they still aren't safe, and should make their way to the underground market since it has a stronger gate. Mofan makes it clear that he must go save his family, but Lin requests that he help her with something first. She gives him the sacred spring water and explains that he must deliver it to the safe zone. Lin explains that her prominent position in the army will make it obvious to the Black Order that she has taken the spring with her, so she can't do it herself. Furthermore, she is a mage of the military, and even if there is no hope left for the city, she must still be there to defend it. It is up to him now to protect the spring water, because if the Black Order gets a hold of it, then the crisis will extend far beyond their city. Mofan refuses since his only focus is on finding his family, but she objects, reminding him that he is not the only one that has people they love. The guards that sacrificed their lives to protect them while in the spring had families too. Lin herself had lost her sister a year ago while she was on a vital mission. She explains that they have a duty as mages to protect the people of the city that are powerless. Mofan now understands and asks Lin to protect his family if she happens to find them in the city. Mofan's father does what he can to make his way home, as he can only hope for his children's safety. He picks up the stranded Muhei, who wants to go to the safe zone, but he explains that he must go into the city to get Mofan. Muhei says that there is nothing that can save Mofan now since the Sacred Spring was the first area to come under attack. It would be better for them to go to the safe zone since Mofan might be there if he is still alive, but Singh says that Muhei could either get out of the vehicle now or go with him to the city. At the border, Officer Kong determines he must go defend the city, but Yanzo says he will go instead so that he can stay to regain the border. Mofan arrives at his school to find a weakening barrier surrounding it. With monsters at every corner, the students inside stand no chance at surviving. Bai manages to rescue Zoe, but must remind her that they won't be able to save everyone. They are told that the upper floors are overrun by wolves, so they decide to head to the stadium. We see that another student fails to use magic under pressure, but the school's other lightning user manages to defeat a monster. Zhang promises to Yuhei that he will get them out, and proves it when they come under attack. However, he must beg her to run away when he is pinned by yet another beast. Seconds away from being killed, a lightning strike emerges, pushing the monster back, and we see that Mofan has finally arrived. The monster proves to be quite strong, but Zhang lowers its defense, and Mofan uses his fire burst to finish it off. The situation is worsening rapidly, so they head to the stadium where everyone seems to be gathering. Thanks for watching part